Hello and good morning. You might realize that this is not a ramblin' while ambling. I was doing my ramblin' while ambling, and I thought to myself, maybe it would help to be able to show people some of these things. We are going to talk, obviously, about Johnny 50 and his arrest and um, what that means or what should be interesting about it. Um, what should be interesting about it is number one, what Johnny's going to be charged with. Mr. Olson was arrested. What the cop said he was arrested for is that he was arrested for disturbing the peace. Now, what I believe that the officer was arresting him for was probably not disturbing the peace. This is your general disturbing the peace statute in California. It's the Penal Code 415. And I think you're going to have a real hard time trying to pigeon what Johnny was doing into any of these things. He wasn't fighting in a public place or challenging another person to fight. He wasn't maliciously, and when I'm saying Johnny, I'm including Liberty Bell. Uh, Neither were uh, willfully disturbing other people by loud and unreasonable noises. I don't think either of them were doing that. I mean, obviously, you can reasonably disagree that her levels were too loud, but I'm just saying why I don't think it is this. And then a person who uses offensive words in a public place, which are inherently likely to provoke an immediate violent reaction. That line number 3, that's the fighting words exception, because you can't prohibit fighting, or you can't prohibit offensive words unless they're fighting words. So um, I don't think that any of the words that they were saying were likely to provoke an immediate violent reaction, although I believe someone did apparently threaten Liberty Bell, and she was very upset over it. But maybe that's it. I'm just not thinking it. What I'm thinking it is this is uh, California Penal Code 602. This is their California's basic trespassing law, and I think it would be K, entering any lands, whether unenclosed or enclosed by fence, for the purpose of injuring any property or property rights, or with the intention of, and that's the important part, with the intention of interfering with, obstructing, or injuring any lawful business or occupation carried on by the owner of the land, the owner's agent, or the person in lawful possession. And so I think they were getting trespassed, and or there is 602.1, and it would be B, any person who intentionally interferes with any lawful business carried on by employees of a public agency open to the public by obstructing or intimidating those attempting to carry on business, or those persons there to transact business with the public agency, and who refuses to leave the premises after being requested to leave by an office manager or supervisor or by a peace officer, blah, blah, blah. So I'm guessing it's going to be one or two of those that they actually get charged with. Johnny was arrested by Johnny and Bell, Mr. Olson, and I forget her last name, but whatever. They were arrested by the Long Beach police, I believe. And so this is where it's going to get interesting. Here's where it's going to get interesting. This is section 1 of where it's going to get interesting. They were on VA property, which is federal property, federal jurisdiction. And things get a little squishy. This is 18 USC section 13, and this carves out the ability for the state laws to be enforced on federal properties, but it is only when there is no federal law on point. So whoever within one of the federal jurisdictions is guilty of any act or omission which, although not made punishable by any enactment of Congress, would be punishable if committed or omitted within the jurisdiction of the state in which such place is situated. So but this is only if it is not made punishable by any enactment of Congress. And federal regulations are made punishable by an act of Congress. I know that it is the agency that promulgates these, but they have enabling statutes that allow them to make these regulations, and so it's essentially an enactment of Congress. And this is the VA's. So actually, I'm just going to highlight this so I can find it again quick. This is 38 CFR 1.218, and this is subsection A5. Conduct on a property which creates a loud or unusual noise, which unreasonably obstructs the usual use of entrances, foyers, lobbies, corridors, offices, elevators, stairways, or parking lots, which otherwise impedes or disrupts the performance of official duties by government employees, which prevents one from obtaining a medical or other service or other services provided on the property in a timely manner, or the use of loud, abusive, or otherwise improper language, or unwarranted loitering, sleeping, or assembly is prohibited. So, I'm thinking that there may be an issue as to whether or not the state law can be enforced there, the state disturbance law, since there is a federal law, a regulation on the books. And it's a ridiculously cheap fine. It's like $250. No time in jail, $250 if you get found guilty of creating a disturbance. It's section 11 here. $250 whole dollars. So it's a high likelihood that they would rather pursue a misdemeanor. This is a 415 is a misdemeanor, and you can get 90 days in jail or $400 or both. And these are misdemeanors. 90 days in jail, $400 or both. And I believe that the K is also, yes, guilty of a misdemeanor. So that's going to be interesting to see the way it shakes down there. It'll be interesting to see if a court determines that Johnny was just filming or if he was actually doing other things besides just filming. I'm not very well, let me just say that I'm not happy that Johnny or Liberty Bell got arrested. I'm not rejoicing in that. It would be better for everybody if they didn't create nuisances, and it would be better for everybody if they didn't go to jail. But it's going to be interesting to see the way it shakes out. It's an interesting process to see how this is going to roll. Smart money is on pleas for, vastly reduced sentences or whatever, slap on the wrist, etc. Johnny was doing his standard, everybody's going to pay, you're all going to pay, this is going to cost you a lot of money, which I'm sure scared the living daylights out of those officers. That was sarcasm, by the way. But this will also be Johnny's opportunity to put his money where his mouth is and actually push this thing through to the end to get some resolution, because it would be nice to have, clarification on all of these things. And First Amendment auditors seem to believe that they have a right to film in these government buildings. And it would be nice to, if Johnny pushed it all the way through as hard and as far as he can to get that resolution, to make it clear for everybody so that other people don't make the same mistakes that Johnny made, or or so that the government stops trying to enforce things that they're not authorized by the Constitution to enforce. So either way, it would be nice if this gets pushed all the way through to a decision in court, whether or not that's going to come as far as a criminal proceeding or a civil proceeding. That's up to people other than me. It's up to Johnny and the state at this point. But it would be lovely if Johnny actually did try to push this thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Once again, I just want to be very clear that I understand a lot of people think that Johnny's an asshole and that he deserves everything he gets and all that other fun stuff. But I just want everybody to remember that the purpose, the intent behind the First Amendment is to protect assholes like Johnny, like me. It's an asshole protection device. And I don't wish ever for anybody to go to jail for things that they say. Now if he is actually guilty of interfering with their business or creating a disturbance, then that's different. But if it's just because Johnny's an asshole and he's saying things that are offensive, then I don't celebrate that at all. So thank you for watching. I apologize that this didn't come in the form of a ramblin' while amblin'. I did my ramblin' while amblin' this morning, and I just figured it would be better to have actual things up to show people what I'm talking about instead of trying to describe it in a tired haze in the morning. So have a great day.